What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the greatest podcast on turf. We got season 2, episode 1. First YouTube video of this season. We're going to be doing a 1 to 10 mock draft in depth.
Going real in depth, have a couple trades in there. We're going to be discussing some other situations that could happen. And then on a podcast, we're going to be doing a full mock draft. So if you want the greatest podcast on turf final mock draft right before the draft, it'll be on the podcast. Go check it out. It's draft week. You know how excited that we've been for draft week, and it's finally here. Thursday, we're going to be recording some live draft reactions and a podcast episode, and that's going to be coming Friday morning, reactions to the draft, our thoughts, what we liked, what we didn't like, all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Like, subscribe. Ready to start off season 2?
Yep, let's get it.
Let's get it. So if you've been following us, you're familiar with the way we do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. So to start off, we all know who I went with number 1. It's going to happen in real life. Trevor Lawrence. I don't have to say much about it.
So much for the in-depth 1 to 10.
Well, I mean, it would be the same stuff. You don't need to explain why Trevor Lawrence is going number 1.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't even want to know what's about to come out of your mouth.
I hope they take Justin Fields just to see your reaction.
And then the Patriots would have a shot at Trevor Lawrence. So
Yeah, okay.
if that's who the Jags want to do, go ahead.
Anyways, I'll jump to pick 2. Seems like the Jets are kind of honing in on Zach Wilson. I mean, earlier it was Justin Fields, but now it seems like it's Zach Wilson. It seems like he's really the guy. And a lot of people are saying that Zach Wilson has that special talent that some other quarterbacks don't. Some people even argue that he's better than Trevor. Not saying that's me, whatever. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy. Last season he had 11-1 turnover ratio. That's pretty good. The Jets need a quarterback. They just traded away Sam Darnold. They have nobody. Their new coach is coming in. He's going to get his guy, and Zach Wilson can develop either franchise quarterback and hopefully turn that franchise around.
Yeah, it seemed like after the Sam Darnold trade, there was a slight little debate on who QB2 was, Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. But I mean, after Zach Wilson's pro day, I mean, it was kind of just set in stone that the Jets were going to go get Zach Wilson because we saw the throws he made. I'm not saying a pro day defines who you are as a player, but some of the throws he was making and just how he looked during his pro day looked real good. And I mean, it kind of just seemed, I haven't seen a mock draft since before all the pro days that have had anyone else going number 2 except Zach Wilson. So, I mean, that pretty much says enough.
Yeah, in Vegas, I mean, he's the favorite to go to in Vegas, and those guys are pretty smart, so.
Not as smart as me, but.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on, number 3 overall pick, the San Francisco 49ers. This one is, I don't know why. So it came out today that Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones and everyone else wants Trey Lance. I'm on everyone else's side, but for the sake of my Patriots, I want them to get Mac Jones because I've been seeing a lot of Mac Jones of the Patriots, and I'm not a fan. If you follow me on Twitter, I don't like Mac Jones. He's a sorry bum. I don't think he'll be good in the NFL. But yeah, so with that being said, I took Mac Jones here just because I feel like Kyle Shanahan kind of has some pull around the 49ers. I mean, he's been to all the quarterback pro days. I just feel like he has some pull around there. He's been to the Super Bowl. I mean, even last season, they started making a playoff push to the end with a bunch of injured guys and C.J. Beathard as their quarterback. So I feel like Kyle Shanahan, with him being a coach, if he wants this guy and he thinks he can win with Mac Jones, I think that they'll end up drafting Mac Jones, and John Lynch will put what he wants aside and listen to Kyle Shanahan because how good the 49ers have been as of late and like the path they're on to being good. I don't like Mac Jones personally, but I can see Kyle Shanahan going and getting his guy if that's what he likes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the coach should, make those decisions. I'm pretty sure Bill Parcells says he ain't cooking dinner if he didn't buy the groceries. Makes sense. But I mean,
wise man once said.
Mac Jones is a guy, a lot of people believe that he's the smartest quarterback in his class.
He's sorry.
Kyle Shanahan really likes that quarterback that can be a leader and read coverages. So, probably going to get his guy. But I'll jump to the next pick, the Falcons. He really wanted this to be Kyle Pitts, but I'm taking a quarterback here. I really believe in the system of sitting a quarterback for a year. So they're going to go ahead and take Justin Fields, sit behind Matt Ryan, and eventually become the starter for this team. Matt Ryan is getting paid a lot of money.
Too much money.
Too much money. I don't
To
think
be
this
average.
team. I don't think this team is going to go
No.
win anything. Especially when you look at. I mean, they're trying to. There's rumors that they're going to trade Julio, so that kind of reaffirms that they're not trying to win. So get your quarterback for the future. You trade Julio, you get a pick or whatever. There is, concerns though because the coach doesn't want a quarterback. The GM does.
So I mean, first year head coach. I don't really know how that's going to hold over. I think didn't they just get a new GM too?
Sure.
I'm not quite sure, but after the reports I saw today that the Patriots really like Justin Fields, I'm kind of praying that they don't go Justin Fields here, as much as the sports analyst side of me knows and thinks that they should take a quarterback like Justin Fields here. But I mean, as a Patriots fan, I want Kyle Pitts 100%. But I like the Justin Fields pick here. I think it's smart. I think Matt Ryan's due close to $40 million this year. And I mean, if they cut him, they keep him on the team this year, okay, just cut their losses. But next year, if they cut Matt Ryan, they save about $25 million. And then you have Justin Fields to step in right away after you cut Matt Ryan, who sat behind him for a year in a new system, got to learn it and learn from Matt Ryan, who it's Matt Ryan, a veteran quarterback. He's a good veteran quarterback for Justin Fields to learn from. So I like that pick there as much as I think it should be Kyle Pitts. That could also, I mean, depending on what they do, I think that could be a trade target. Just say they do end up, like, not wanting a quarterback or not liking any of the quarterbacks available. This could be a trade-up spot. There's a lot of teams rumored to want to get in the top 10 to try and get a shot at these quarterbacks. So, I mean, I could see that. I mean, pick 4, I feel like that's where the draft really starts.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the first 3, it's set quarterback. The third pick, we just don't know what the quarterback's going to be. So the draft doesn't really start until the 4th pick. So we'll see. That'll be the most, like, when the draft gets real exciting, because that also could be a trade-up spot. And I feel like it would take a lot of capital to get up, especially knowing the value that these quarterbacks hold and, like, how good the draft class is. So, yeah, I'm going to move on to number 5. This pick's a no-brainer for me. It's got to be Penei Sewell to the Bengals. The Bengals have to protect Joe Burrow. I mean, as cool as it would be to see Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow reunite, Jamar Chase doesn't really help the team as much as Penei Sewell would. The Bengals have nothing on the offensive line. Riley Reiff is not the answer. 32 years old, bought him in for a year, no guaranteed money. Jonah Williams is hurt every year. And Billy Price, Billy Price. They need offensive linemen. You got to protect Joe Burrow. You get Penei Sewell in. I say it all the time. The Bengals love their versatile linemen. Jonah Williams, Billy Price, both versatile offensive linemen. So you bring in Penei Sewell to be that anchor at the left tackle position. He can play on the right side. He's been training on the left and right side as he's prepping for the draft in the process. He can play guard. He's got that flexibility. So to me, this pick's got to be Penei Sewell. I mean, if T. Higgins didn't pan out and play as good as he did last year, I would say go get Jamar Chase. But T. Higgins was solid last year, and Tyler Boyd's one of the best slot receivers in the league. So you have enough there. You got Joe Mixon also, who's a top 10 running back when he's healthy, and he has a good offensive line. So you get Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow some help so they can get that offense flowing.
Yeah, I mean, the Bengals are in a really good spot here at 5. Quarterbacks are going to go before them, so they kind of have their pick of the litter with whatever player that they want. And a lot of people believe that the top 3 by far, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, and Kyle Pitts. So they're going to most likely have their choice at all 3 of them, if not at least 2 of them.
Absolutely.
But I'll go ahead and jump to the next pick, the Miami Dolphins. They're going to go ahead and take Jamar Chase here and give Tua a weapon. The wide receivers, yeah, they're all right. They got Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Albert Wilson, and Jakeem Grant. They're okay. I mean, Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant are mostly slot guys. Devontae Parker is he's a better number 2. And then Preston Williams, he's athletic, but he's been known to get hurt. But with Jamar Chase, you're getting a guy that can be your number 1 receiver, set in stone. It'll be huge for Tua. Could also see them going Kyle Pitts here, but since they have Mike Gesicki, I figured they'll go Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick Jamar Chase. I mean, arguably best offensive weapon available. I mean, Jamar Chase, he's that receiver 1 that the Dolphins need. Like Ryan said, Devontae Parker is a top receiver 2 in the league. He didn't really pan out to be that true receiver 1 Miami thought he would. But I like the Jamar Chase pick. They don't have many weapons on offense. I mean, this could also be a trade spot. I mean, the Dolphins have made a lot of moves last year, this year. Just this offseason alone, they've made a lot of moves. So, like I said, if the offer is right, this could be a trade back. Also with the Bengals pick, I forgot to add. I mean, these next 3, 4 5 picks could all be trade spots. We'll get into them as they go. And moving on, the first trade. I got, after the rumors today of my Patriots making calls to move up in the top 10, we did it. I had my Patriots moving up with the Lions. The Patriots are, what do we give them? We gave them the 15th overall pick, a first-round pick next year, a 4th and a 5th-round pick this year to get in that number 7 spot and to get our future franchise guy in Trey Lance. If this happens in real life, I'll be more than happy. I'm going to order a jersey the night of. Trey Lance, I think he's a perfect fit for the Patriots. I would like Justin Fields more personally as a Patriot because the Patriots like him more, and I feel like Justin Fields is a better overall prospect than Trey Lance is. But I mean, if we even get a shot at Trey Lance, I hope we take it because Trey Lance is a good quarterback on his own. He's like Cam Newton, and if the Patriots want to keep continuing what we're doing on offense with the Cam Newton, throwing the ball, QB runs, spreading the floor around, some with the field around, some with the new weapons we got, Trey Lance will be a perfect fit. And some teams and people and analysts seem to view him as a developmental quarterback. So if that is the case, we got Cam Newton for a year. They're very similar players. I think Trey Lance can throw the ball deep a little better than Cam Newton. So I think that would be huge for his development, getting to sit behind Cam Newton in the Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels offense for a year.
I'm personally not touching Trey Lance for the 10-foot pole, but
he's a hater.
The Patriots definitely need a quarterback because Cam Newton is sorry.
I wouldn't say Cam Newton's sorry, but Cam Newton definitely is not the Cam Newton that he once was.
Cam Newton last year was sorry. Anyways, I'll jump to the next pick. The Carolina Panthers, pick 8 to get the best available player. Arguably the best receiver, as in
offensive weapon.
Offensive weapon as receiver. I mean, Kyle Pitts, tight end is a receiver too, technically. But Kyle Pitts, a lot of people are saying, throwing around that term generational talent.
Ryan doesn't like that term too much.
It's been thrown around with a lot of players, but Kyle Pitts, I mean, he kind of fits the build a little bit. I mean, we know he's athletic. We know he's got special talents. We know that it's been proven. He was really good the year before last year, and he even improved this year. Stopped dropping the ball. He's just a freak of nature, and that's really it. The Carolina Panthers are a team that they're turning the right track, I would say.
Good.
They have wide receivers. The quarterback situation is,
I would say, it's a pretty decent sized question mark right now.
Yeah, and whatever quarterback that they decide to go with is going to need weapons. Sam Darnold, if you give him Kyle Pitts, he has the best receiving core, 100,000% that he's ever had, and he has no excuses if he performs badly. Kyle Pitts is a guy that can be, a Hall of Fame tight end.
Absolutely.
I'm not huge on drafting tight ends in the top 10, but Kyle Pitts is a guy that's athletic enough to play wherever on the field.
Yeah, I like to pick Kyle Pitts. He's a good blocker. He can catch the ball crazy. He can line up out wide and run good routes. I mean, he's great. I think, like Ryan said, Kyle Pitts has all the potential in the world to be that generational talent. As people have been saying, another pick, look for like a guy like Rashaan Slater here, or even Penei Sewell if he somehow falls. I think this could be an offensive lineman too, because they're kind of thin at tackle right now. But Kyle Pitts, I don't think you can go wrong with it. He's arguably the best player in the class. I've seen some people say he's the best player in the class, ahead of all the quarterbacks and all that, which I can see the argument. I don't think so, but I definitely see the argument. But it's a good pick for the Panthers. I mean, I think they definitely have a top offensive weapon core in the league. Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Kyle Pitts. I mean, if Sam Darnold can be even okay, he should be able to make stuff happen with that offense.
Yeah, Sam Darnold better get ready to throw.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like Teddy Bridgewater is going to be on the move, which leads me to my next pick, the Denver Broncos. There's a lot of talk in the town about the Broncos, that Drew Lock's sorry, and that they need a quarterback. It's not the case. Drew Lock's nice. I'll tell you right now, Drew Lock's going to be good this year, and he's going to shut everybody up. But it's looking like the Broncos kind of leaning toward, if they don't get a quarterback at 9, it's most likely they're going to be the ones that trade for Teddy Bridgewater to bring in some quarterback competition for Drew Lock. Drew Lock will win because Drew Lock's nice. I mean, nothing against Teddy Bridgewater. I love Teddy Bridgewater. He's a fan favorite. But I think Drew Lock is a lot better than the way people make it out to be he is. So when we were doing a mock draft, we debated on this pick for a long time and who it should be. Because, I mean, the Broncos, their main need is inside linebacker, and there's not an inside linebacker worth taking here. Micah Parsons, I'll get into it. I got into it on a podcast. Check that out. Not the biggest fan. I think Micah Parsons needs to go to a defense where they can kind of dumb it down for him, where he can play see-ball, hit ball, and use his athleticism to make plays. Not knocking him and Micah Parsons. He's just not an inside linebacker prospect to me. I don't think that he would be good enough on the inside. You could argue Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, but I think it's too early for him to go in the top 10. So, I mean, when in doubt, just draft an offensive lineman. Rashaan Slater, versatile. I mean, he's arguably the best tackle in the class, and him at 9 of the Broncos, who, I mean, there's a big question mark at right tackle for them right now. I don't remember the guy's name. I know he opted out last year. Juwan James. Yeah, he's a bum. And Slater comes in. He can be that right tackle for you. He has guard flexibility, like Penei Sewell. And, I mean, Rashaan Slater is a very good tackle prospect. So, for the Broncos that only have a few needs that can be addressed later in the draft, when in doubt, just draft an offensive lineman, especially with no quarterbacks worth going off the board if that's the route they want to go.
Yeah, for me, I think this is a good pick. I think that they 100% have to go offensive line because of the fact that Drew Lock is still a question mark. You have to eliminate all the question marks around your quarterback position. You give Drew Lock an offensive line. You gave him receivers. He has an okay running back. Running backs don't really matter to quarterbacks that much, but you give him offensive line, you give him receivers. Now he has no excuses. So give him Rashaan Slater. If he performs bad, he's gone.
And he's a baller.
I don't think he's good, but
Drew
I do agree with the pick. I do think if a quarterback is here, they're going to take him. Any of the top 5 guys, Mac Jones, any of them.
Mac Jones is a sorry bum. Mac Jones, if this is any other year, Mac Jones is like a late first-round pick.
I really hope that Mac Jones is a Super Bowl player.
And if he is,
the best quarterback to ever walk.
If he does, I'll come on a podcast and say I was wrong. But I think Mac Jones is a sorry bum. And I hope to God he doesn't end up on the Patriots.
Anyways, I'll jump to the 10th pick, my Dallas Cowboys.
Boo.
Taking the first defensive player off the board.
Really?
10. Yeah.
And this is like a real possibility too. Like they're saying that the first 10 picks, 11, 12 picks could all be offensive players.
Technically. So, Pat Surtain here. The Dallas Cowboys have kind of honed in on him a little bit more than the other corners. You see him meeting with Pat Surtain. We see the Cowboys probably have him first, and I think Horn second. Pat Surtain is the most experienced corner in this draft class. He had a great pro day. He had the highest PFF coverage rate of all corners last year. And, I mean, Cowboys want him. Cowboys are going to get him if he's still there. He's an Alabama guy to put on the other side of Trayvon Diggs. Corner is a absolute huge need because I have no idea who our other outside corner is. I don't think there is one. So
I'm trying to bring that no-fly zone to the defense.
Yeah, we're trying. But, I mean, it's a good pick here. We need to go defense 100%. If Kyle Pitts is there, I mean, he's there. We'll take him, whatever. But if he's not here, take Pat Surtain.
If Kyle Pitts falls, I think Jerry Jones is going to call up and...
He might as well. I mean, at this point, he might as well.
That's would be the Jerry thing to do, honestly.
And I'll draft Dak Prescott in the first round of my fantasy draft, and he'll put me 50 a week.
But I like the Pat Surtain pick to Dallas. I mean, they clearly have a hole at secondary. Like you said, Trayvon Diggs, who was below average last year, he was okay. Nothing special, but they need that true number 1 corner, and Pat Surtain could be that guy. I think it's just personal preference. I mean, who you like more in Pat Surtain, J.C. Horn. I was watching somebody, I don't remember who it was. Apparently, J.C. Horn is like one of the highest graded corners by somebody. I don't know if it was, I don't remember who it was, said that he's the highest graded corner since Jalen Ramsey coming out of college.
I saw that too. And Richard Sherman called him the best. But
Which, I mean, I don't know. Jalen Ramsey was a different breed coming out of college. Jalen Ramsey, best corner in the league now. So, J.C. Horn lives up to that hype. Good for him. I like Surtain a little bit better just because the experience factor, his PFF grade, and all that stuff. But I think that they're both going to be real good. So I like to pick the Dallas, and they can't go wrong with either, I feel like.
Yeah, I personally like Horn more, but the Cowboys are showing more interest in Surtain, so.
There you go. But no, I think that's going to wrap it up. If you want picks 11 through 32, click that link right in the description for the podcast. Went in detail about all the rest of the picks, talked about them all, some other possible trade-up spots. What could happen. There were some questionable players that I'm going to have to be explaining for myself to keep my credibility, so check that out.
All right, on that note, be sure to check out the podcast, and that's going to wrap up this week's exclusive segment, Season 2, Episode 1 of the greatest podcast on turf.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, Friday coming 2 more uploads. We're 4 episodes this week like we promised. The week we took off, starting off Season 2 with a bang. We got 4 episodes coming. I'm excited. It's draft. You guys are gonna be getting live raw reactions. Might even throw some cusses in there. But now, like, subscribe, follow us, tweet at us, comment in the description you guys' thoughts on the picks, what you guys think could happen. Link in the description for the full mock draft, and we will see you guys on Friday.
See ya.
Peace.